Alright guys, welcome to another video in our mobile suit tips and guides section of the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Early Production Gelgoog, aka the EP Goog, short term being that name. This is the first Gelgoog in the game. This is also the first banner that was ever introduced into the game alongside Grandpa Gundam. The Early Production Goog has 4 levels ranging cost 400 to 550. It is a very beefy suit. And, honestly, it's got a really good kit for it, what it can output. It's a very basic Gelgoog. It doesn't have as much as the other variants, but it has more than the mass production Gelgoog, aka just a normal Gelgoog in the game. So it's not like kit wise, it's not the most sparse, but it is pretty sparse. But gameplay wise, this is a very rich suit. It has a lot of melee potential. It has the Gyoku kit, the shield, the hitbox, which is a negative, but also kind of a positive at the same time, if you think about it. I'll go over that in a minute when I go over my build. But yeah, as you can see here, a brief little summary of my current build on this suit at 400 cost is I have points in the health, ballistic resistance, melee resistance, and melee boost damage. I filled out my entire part slot range. Um, we'll go over my builds, my general thesis of builds for 400 costs, and this 400 and 450 are basically the same mindset. I don't have 550 cost early production Gelgoog, but I do have the 500, and it's the same thesis up there for those two suits. Um, so we'll go over the 400, which is essentially the 450 build as well. Then we'll go with a 500 build, and then we'll run the 400 out in practice. And it's the same in gameplay. It's just the fact that there's a little bit more tank built into 500 cost than the 400 and 450 cost versions of my build. So let's hop in here. All right, so our weapon, really the only weapon to really use on most Gelgoogs, the Gelgoog beam rifle. It's got a really nice charge rate. If you only use charge shots and you pick out your shots well, you will never overheat this beam rifle. It's got good range. It does a good amount of damage, trust me. And it's freaking nice. Like, I don't know, it just feels so buttery smooth most of the time. Um, the only melee weapon it gets is the Beam Naginata. As we know, Beam Naginata is a really good melee weapon. Its hitboxes are insane. It has almost a full 360-degree coverage of its swing. It has, I would say, around like a 280-degree coverage around your suit for a downswing. Its sub-weapons are the MMP-80, which is a 120 power submachine gun. It's an okay gun, actually. This is not a bad gun to actually use in this suit. Just don't rely on it. You basically want to lead with your beam rifle, and then you want to try and pick off low health enemies with your machine gun rather than wasting charge on your beam rifle. If that makes sense. Unless you can close in on them, then the beam naginata might be the best choice. So, just playing it out right there. The Gelgoog shield's a large size shield. It's got a good amount of health. It's got 4k health, which is, look at my health pool there is, a good fourth of my health. So, that's a good little chunk right there. At 400, I put on the Strength and Frame level 5 and level 1. I put on melee programs level 3 and 4. I put on anti-ballistic armor level 1. Anti-melee armor level 3, and shield reinforcements level 2, so it gets even more shield health, so on and so forth. And the skills for the early production Gelgoog do not change per tier. So we got the Leg Shark Absorber level 2, Quick Boost level 1, misspeak. Emergency Evasion System level 1, Dodge Roll is what that is. Enhanced Tackle level 1, so Enhanced Tackle means that it gets 50% extra damage to the tackle and it covers 5% more distance. So essentially, your tackle reaches a little bit further, your counter does way more damage, and just the overall tackle damage is increased. There you go. It has Balancer, which is really nice. It has Combo, which is also really nice. It has Ambac for space, and it has Special Leg Buffer to help with its large leg hitboxes, so it takes less leg damage. The thing about this suit Even though it has AMBAC, it does not have any topography bonuses, so therefore it's the same kind of speed in ground and space with the same thruster recovery and the same stagger recovery. So, you know, it's interesting. The first level you get is Corporal level 1. As you can see right there, it is a must buy in my sense once you get to that tier. It's going to be one of the earlier Gelgoogs you can actually purchase. So I highly recommend it in that sense. So this is kind of how the build at 400 and 450 goes, just more damage. You can fit only a certain amount of shit on there. But at 500 cost, I basically crank it up. As you can see, at 450 is still tank with only really take out basically our ballistic resistance put into thrusters. But at 500 cost, we full invest into beam resistance, melee defense, health, melee boost, and thrusters. I fully cooked this thing, aka in the sense of I put this thing through the hangar. I think the entire way, right? Yeah, this thing's fully upgraded in the hangar. So, Gelgoog beam rifle on level, beam Naginata on level. It still has the MMP-80, which is on level, so 132 damage at the current moment. And the Gelgoog shield at the current level is almost 5,000 health, which is, if you look at my health, what I've upgraded to, is almost a quarter of my health. So meaning I could tank a lot more. And on the 500 build, and what would be at 550, it would be anti-melee armor level 3, new model frame level 1, strength of frames level 4 and 5, anti-beam armor level 1, strength of melee programs level 2 and 3, and thruster control system level 2. Basically, the theory is, not the theory, my hypothesis and tested in ranked and rating for a 500 cost early production Goog is to be a big meat shield. The thing is, this suit's old. A lot of the Gelgoogs are just faster, not really as tanky. They hit harder. A lot of new suits that come out, Alex, Camphor, GPO1, GPO3, GPO4, freaking Rick Diaz, Mark II. A lot of the suits just, they just, if you look at what they do and you look at what the EP Goog does, the EP Goog doesn't do half the stuff they do most of the time. They got gimmicks, they got special swings, they got instant stun ranged weapons, multiple instant stun ranged weapons, the works. But all EP Goog here is a very basic Goog setup, Gelgoog setup. But where it makes up for that is the fact that it has high melee priority. And so if you just think about it in the sense of this, so at 500 cost, your main threats are going to be beam damage and melee damage. The early production Gelgoog really suffers from melee defense, so you have to basically throw a bunch of melee parts on there. Melee is going to be your biggest concern for all costs for the early production Goog because it's the most prevalent damage that's consistent throughout all tiers of this game. Beam resistance is a must-have to pump into the suit at 500 cost. Melee boost to utilize the beam Naginata and a high melee priority, and thrusters to move around a lot faster because everything at this cost either has topography to make up for its low thruster count or really high thruster counts for ground because of space topography. The reason why I pumped 3,000 health in is because 3,000 health is about a combo and a half, 2 combos from most general types at this tier with this defense setup. You can output a lot of damage with this suit, but most of the time you're going to be saving teammates and you should not be playing super aggressively. You're not trying to go out there and 1v2. You're out there trying to basically be like, hey, look, my support is under attack. My friendly general is under attack and there's no one in front of me. Let me go over there and tank for him and let him get the kill mentality with this suit at the current moment in 500 and 550 cost. At 400 and 450, you can be a little bit more selfish. Suits are a lot squishier down there. So, that's kind of how you play the suit at 500 and 550. But we're going to run it back to 400. We're going to just basically go over the basic playstyle of the suit, what beginner players will experience it at. For the most part, I really can't show you how to tank with it. other than the fact of what you might think tanking would be with it, with that much health and resistances, which is just standing in front of the enemy, trying to stun and melee. So let's run it back. Um, there's not many combos I can show you for this suit. This suit does have some, I guess, skill possibility. A lot of that skill possibility with the suit comes with mental games, mind games, really, against your enemy opponent, like suits and opponents. Depending on what suit they are, you can try and outplay them with your thruster gauge. You have very slow thrust speed, so try and outplay them, thinking that you run out of boost. Another thing you do is, most people don't understand or forget melee priorities a lot of the time. So you could try and get into a swinging contest with, say, raids, and either unless you cancel your priority by hitting something beforehand, you could lock sabers with the raid and keep them locked in place. So yeah, with that in mind, here we go. As you can see, the beam saber swings arcs up and back down, basically covering a near 280 degrees. It starts up at my left shoulder, goes down behind my right leg. So you have to be careful, careful and cautious of, because tackles. So that gun cannon, as you can see, he'll be hit. Your side swings are also nothing to mess with. They cover behind you on your right side if you do the right swing. The left side swing starts from your shoulder out to your front, so it doesn't hit behind you to your left. That's the only really blank zone that this suit can't hit with melee. So keep that in mind. Your beam rifle charge does a ton of damage, as I will show. 2k to a support is a lot. 100 damage to your machine gun to a support's a lot. And so this machine gun isn't really that bad. It's really good to kind of just chip if you somehow redline your rifle. Just the one thing you kind of want to work on not doing with this suit is learning how not to redline it. Swap speed between the beam rifle and beam Naginata is really fast, so you could, as I did right there, shoot an uncharged shot to finish off enemy on the ground, switch to your Naginata and swing at another person. Granted, the time is very small. It's a very small window to actually hit that, so be careful. So yeah. This is the early production Gelgoog. There's not much to it, so I'm not gonna really. There's the cut over to the training scene, which happened in this video. It's gonna mean this training little section is a little bit shorter, but at the same time, this suit is very basic. It's a more tank-oriented general. So with that in mind, this is the early production Gelgoog, my first Gelgoog, and the Gelgoog I recommend to every person wanting to get into them should really invest time in to get the basics down. So yeah, if you like this video, leave a like down below. If you have any comments about what I missed and or suits you want to see in the future, let me know down in the comments. But this has been Deranged Pyro, aka Grandy Warrior, signing off. Thank you. Goodbye.